Yes, yes. It's your girl, Mina Mendoza, little girl, big personality, queen of spice. We in the building. Yes, love that. Love the horns, love the bells, love that. We got extra special spicy guests with us. We got Mike Parra in the building.
Thank you.
Horns, all that, the whole vibe. But yes, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be on.
I'm excited. So yeah, how are you feeling right now? How are you feeling?
I'm doing good.
Yes.
The weather sucks kind of outside a little bit, but it's been a good day so far. Yeah, I've been mentally preparing myself, looking forward to this. So yeah, thanks for having me on again.
Of course. And just a little backstory so people actually can know, Mike Parra is a definitely talented house music DJ, changing the scenes in the house music scene. I believe we got introduced through Francisco Samuel.
Mm-hmm.
I saw you guys, I remember it was a couple months back, definitely before Thanksgiving. You guys were spinning at Mama Sushi.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yep.
Mama Sushi night. Definitely a great night. Yes, that part. Definitely a great night. Music, the vibes, the beat. I didn't get to eat the food though. I heard the food's really good. I was like, damn, I was like, in my head, I was like, should I order food? And I think when I wanted to order food, it was too late.
Yeah, I think the kitchen closed kind of early, but yeah, they're known for having good food. I looked at the menu and a couple things looked actually good. Sounded good at least.
Yeah. So like, also shout out to Francisco, shout out to Vibe with Steph, shout out to Caro, shout out to also like Parra Entertainment.
Yeah, so shout out to my wife. Obviously, I know she's home watching home with the kids.
Jackie.
Obviously, she has her own page. It's called Parra Entertainment, and we're actually doing more parties here in New Jersey. She's really promoting other events that's going on. So yeah, definitely hit that like or follow us on Instagram at Parra Entertainment. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks for that shout out.
The whole vibes. Definitely follow that. Also, everybody that's in the check-in right now, also remember to subscribe to your girl, the Mina Mendoza Show. Especially you like fresh, new content, innovative content. Just do it. Subscribe your girl. Subscribe to your local spicy Latina. Just saying. All right, I see we got some activity in the check-in, so I'm definitely my blind ass cannot see that far, so I'm definitely want to check out like who's in the check-in. Shout out to Amanda, shout out to Blaze. We got Jackie in the check-in. Wifey's in there.
What's up, babe?
We also have Clader Batista.
Yeah, that's my homie Clader. Yeah, that's my best friend, one of my best friends, girl.
Yes, thank you for watching the show, guys. Thank you for supporting us in this moment. So let's get the show started. So Mike, house music DJ, like what do you feel like you like to categorize yourself? Like if you, obviously you're a DJ, but is there any specific genre of house music that you feel like more inclined to?
So right now, my sound is more directed towards, I guess, like a tech house, what's known as a tech house type of sound. I play all different types of the house genres though. I can play techno, I can play deep house, I can play minimal. I guess they're kind of subgenres, but it's all house music all at one, all together. I know there's the things that you hear on the radio and things that you hear, on the mainstream is totally different. Our sound is a little bit more underground, things that you really haven't heard of before. So I would say it's more of a tech house sound right now.
Okay.
But it's changed over the years for sure. For those that know me a long time, yeah, definitely changed,
So when you say changed over the years, for those that been listening to me a long time, what were you playing before? Because now I'm curious. You put it out there.
I was just about to actually mention that. So I used to have a more techno sound.
Like
my friends noticed that too.
Like that?
So no, not like that.
Okay.
So for the real techno, I guess it's more of it's really driven by a hard kick. It's not too many minimal sounds that are added in there. It's mostly just a hard kick and a nice driving bass. Things that you hear, like I said, the techno nowadays has changed from what I used to play back in the day. It's a lot more faster now. But Definitely, it's a noticeable difference when you hear my sets from like, let's say, like 10 years ago, as opposed to now. So I mean, it's a good change. You know, the scene changes a lot in terms of music. You know, you know, a lot of things are going Afro now. Afro's been really coming up again, and you know, that tribal sound. It used to be tribal, now it's, you know, Afro. You know, very similar things. But you know, I try to stay with what, you know, the things are moving towards. You know, you know, a lot of the sound, like I said, it changes, you know, every so often, and you know, it's good to catch that wave and, you know, try to keep what people like to listen, try to keep that going, you know.
What do you feel like you do with your craft where you try to stay consistent? Like, what do you do so that you are on top of what people are listening to?
Yeah, so it's not easy, that's for sure. You know, you really gotta know what's in, you know. It's it's kind of cliche to say you gotta be in it to win it type thing, but you know, to understand how the sound has evolved, you really got to be present. You got to go out. You really got to pay attention to, you know, how the crowd reacts to certain music, you know, what the crowd doesn't like, you know, and things of that nature. So I think in order to stay relevant and, you know, always catch what I guess the trends are, it's important to, you know, stay active, you know, with it, whether it's, you know, talking to different people, collaborating, or just seeing what the feel is out for that type of night, you know. It also matters where you're playing, you know, because if you're playing in New York at an after hours, it's different than what you would play at, you know, New Jersey for an opening set, you know. So that also plays a big role. If you could
describe to the viewers why that is different, because like I know why it's different, but why would that be a different sound?
Yeah,
like,
so
if you could just give people more like a play-by-play of what that means.
It's actually a good question. Something that unfortunately nowadays tends to sometimes get ignored. You know, sometimes. And listen, you know, everybody's got to do what they got to do to get, you know, work and to stay relevant. But knowing how to play to a certain room is important. Knowing how to play it to a certain time. And I'll be the first to say, you know, I learned that the hard way. I started in this pretty young, you know. I'm only 30. I'll be 34 this year, but it's been almost 13 years. So when I started, I was in my teens. I was 19. And in the beginning, I didn't really understand how it was to play to the room and to play to certain times and certain crowds.
Like, I'm going to just go hard.
Yeah, no, you know, the people.
Which is not wrong, but that could be a mistake.
You see that throughout time, you know, and the feedback that you get from other people, you see that that's really, really appreciated, you know, especially from DJ to DJ, you know, that's called DJ etiquette, you know, and just allowing the headliner to get, you know, the shine and not overshadowing, you know, whoever you're playing with. So that's really important. But it also comes with the sound. So if I'm playing at like a festival that's like, you know, known for Hispanic people, I might play a little bit more Hispanic type of sounds or Latin type of vibes. Where if I'm at an after hours, I might not play that, you know, depending on who you're playing with and the party and
you read the room.
Yeah, it's very important.
Yeah,
very important.
I agree with what you're saying, because I remember I had went to a show. It was like in the summer a couple years back, but like when you said that literally like boop. It was in the summer. I remember it was Chloe. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her last name, Chalette. Chloe Chalette. She's a female DJ.
Okay, I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
She's cool. But she was opening up for, I forgot who it was. Oh my God. He's not even known to be like playing hard like that. But I can't even remember, because like I left. That's what's crazy. He played so aggressive that I left. So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was crazy. So I remember Chloe, when Chloe went, like when she did the show, it was like wild, because like when she came on fire, she made people dance, you know? And I think the headliner got jealous. You ever seen that happen?
Yeah,
where he was
absolutely.
Like, damn, like she really just worked the shit out of the room right now. So like what's wild was like everybody was grooving, everyone was dancing. And what was the location? It was at that Navy Yard location.
Oh, that Navy ship?
Yeah. It's like they have that like crazy war artifact in front of the building. That's all I know. It's like I don't know what it is. It's definitely a warehouse, but it's like it's Navy something. Not Knockdown. That's in Queens.
Okay.
But whatever it was, like she worked the room amazing. And then all right, headliner, like the person that we actually came there to see, and then he just started going so aggressive. So aggressive, like too aggressive, where like people like on the dance floor were like too hard, like people were hitting each other. I was like, yo, this is not even my vibe right now. Like, And I remember, like, I ended up leaving facts. That's how I felt. I was like, oh my God, get out. I was just like, yo, she was wild for me. So I remember I was like, damn, was he jealous that she was working the room? I don't know. Like, do you feel like that happens sometimes?
Absolutely, it happens. You know, and obviously everybody's gonna react differently.
Yeah.
There's people that sometimes just take it and they say, or whatever. They're still gonna go about their business. But it's really important to make sure that you respect that and you understand that. Yeah, no, sometimes it comes with experience, which is understandable. But I've seen it go both ways. It
could be it could be super great. But I feel like I don't know like what he was trying to do that night. I was like, yo, you're known to be playing soulful sounds. Why are you going so hard right now?
Yeah, and it's a tough, I guess, to balance it.
It was giving hardcore Berlin vibes.
Wow.
I was like, I was not ready for this. I bought this ticket to chill. Like, you know, if I wanted drum code shit, like I would go for that, you know?
And the thing is though that like
I'm trying to think, who was it that I saw, which it was shocking to me. I was like, why are you playing like this?
What I was gonna say is it's because you understand it, right? And sometimes, you know, the majority of people that are in this for, you know, the real reason, for the love of the music, and they understand it, they know that. But unfortunately, not everybody knows that. So I've had experiences where my friends would tell me, hey, why are you not playing hard enough? You know, or I'm opening, they're like, hey, you better play hard today. And I'm like, hey, listen, you know, I got to open today, you know? So it's tough for people not to understand that, especially your supporters. They want to see you do good, you know? But as long as they, you know, most of the time they understand that you're doing it for the better yourself, you know, to provide a good show and to understand, you know, how things work. So it's a tough balance, but it's you know, I've been able to make it work, especially recently, in the last couple of years.
So how long have you been DJing in total? Because you said you started at 19. So how long is this profession going?
So this year is 13 years. Actually 14 years. This October is 14 years.
Congrats.
Yeah. Thank you. So my first gig was in New Jersey. We played in New Jersey, did a lot of house parties.
No way. What part? Where?
So I'm originally from Patterson.
Yo, we love Patterson here.
Right, that's right.
He's down from Patterson
too. And I'm Colombian, so I know, you know.
I'm Colombian too.
Oh yeah.
What part of Patterson?
I grew up on East 19th. That's close to 21st Ave.
Okay. I was on Sassafras by River Street.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then I moved to Clifton when I was like 9 years old, and then I was in Clifton my whole life pretty much. I lived in Florida for 2 years, and then when I came back, you know, what first got me into this music was really like
that's what I was gonna get into, because you always gotta get in. You get introduced. I always hear this from everybody. There's always that party that you didn't know what was gonna happen, and then it just changes your life.
That's right, for
sure. That's how house music works.
Yeah,
you know.
But that happened to me twice. So once as a I guess I would say party girl when I was young. What really got me into the sound, I was big on trance back in the day. You know, Tiesto, Ferry Corsten, you know, Armin van Buuren. That's in the early 2000s. You know, late before 2010s.
Early Pacha days.
Yeah, exactly. So then when I first came back in 2007, when I came back from Florida, I graduated high school. Pasha was popping. You know, Pasha had just opened in 2006.
So absolutely. So, that's when I was like 16, definitely.
Pasha was the place to be. I was even, I don't know if you remember when Pasha was 18 on Fridays. Pasha used to be 18 to get in on Fridays and 21 on Saturdays. I used to have my fake ID to go in on Saturdays, you know, if it was a day where I wasn't of age. But it was a lot of cool things that I went through, you know, at an early age that opened my eyes to a lot of different sounds in the music. But
they had levels to Pasha. It was like one floor would be like house, one floor would be like another sound. Yeah,
Pachita, the top floor is always known for, they would do a mix of Latin, they would do, you know, different things. Although I did see house events up in Pachita too, but depends on, you know, if it was a big event, if it was multiple DJs and things of that nature. But
I always feel like Pasha the headliner was in the middle floor.
Yeah, for the most part. For the most part, on the main floor, that's where the big DJ was. But sometimes people came to go upstairs to Pachita. I seen a lot of people go up there. Yeah, but shout out to Pacha. That was one of the best times in my life for sure.
Pasha. Damn, rest in peace, Pasha, too.
Absolutely.
That
Pasha was changed a lot of people's lives, actually, in the industry.
Me and Amanda went to Pasha for her birthday. So funny ass story, yo. I don't even know how old you were turning, Amanda. I think you were turning 18 or 19, but it was this girl's birthday, right? Yo, I'm sorry, Amanda. I'm gonna blow up your spot right now. Yo, this girl, like, bro, this girl gets a party bus, and you know what pulls up in front of her house? The little papi buses. You know the little like dollar
Yes,
buses?
yes.
Yo, I swear
We call
to
it the
God,
dollar bus.
I was like, yo, who booked this party bus? Yo, there was a Mira bus in front of her.
Hey, listen, I don't blame her.
Bro.
I used to go to Pasha in the dollar buses all the time. So
But that's what I'm saying. But for that to be your party bus, that was the party bus. That was the party bus. Yo, we rode up in a Mira bus to Pasha. This is not a joke. Yo, that was crazy. And then it was such a crazy night because my girl, she like didn't bring her ID. And tell me how the driver drove back to Jersey, then drove back to New York to get her ID. Wow. That night was crazy.
I'll tell you what, look, when I came from Florida, my first person to show me what the sound was in Florida, because my brother used to live with me in Florida. When he came back, he came before me. He called me one night from the club and he's like, Mike, listen to what music they got. And obviously he was like, boom, boom, boom. And I was like, yo, where you at?
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, this place called Pasha. When you come up, you got to go. First place I went when I came up from Florida was Pasha. And yeah, I to say it changed my my life trajectory, I guess is an understatement because, yeah.
Okay.
It really did open a lot of things for me.
You go to Pasha, you have a life-changing experience. Now, when do you decide there's like, okay, I actually want to be behind the decks?
Yeah. So first of all, music has always been, I've always been into music. And actually in high school, you know, for those that really know me personally, I was into producing reggaeton beats. And I used to even write little rhymes. I had a little crew in high school. We used to like make little mixtapes and stuff like that. So producing side, I've always wanted to be in music. You know, I played drums as very little. I was in church bands in Florida playing drums and things like that. So I've always been around live sound, things of that nature. When I came back up from Florida, I went to IAR, Institute of Audio Research in the city. They closed out, but it was a good school for sound engineering and audio engineering. And they teach you like the nuts and bolts of sound and how, you know, sound waves and how things work. So that really, you know, I loved it. You know, I it's a rabbit hole that I went down. And from there, having the production always, you know, in my head, sorry.
It's okay. You can push it down if you
No,
want.
I think it's fine.
Okay.
Going to Pasha and then hearing, I guess, a different type of variety of music, it really like, you know, it captured me. It really did. And then slowly but surely, I started moving towards house. I got into electro house for a little bit. Then it was big on techno. And then the last 5 or so years, it's more of a tech house sound. So what tech house is basically like techno and house mixed together. But now, you know, there's a lot of good music out. You know, a lot of people are making a new type of sound. You know, there's jack in house. There's break beats. They got a lot of break beats in house music now. There's you know, a lot of old school house. That sound from the old school house is coming back with like a lot of vocals. You know. DJs like one of my good friends, DJ Dove. Shout out to DJ Dove. His sound maintains that original house, you know, that lovable vibe, which is what I love. So yeah, music it's ever changing. It's never stopping, you know. For me, this was something that I decided to do. So I was around 2008 when I said, you know what, I saved up to get my first pair of turntables. I got some CDJs and I learned mixing with CDs. I was doing small house parties in New Jersey in 2008. Then in 2009, I made my first appearance in New York.
Okay.
It was Touch NYC.
Hey.
And then after that, I really got into the Queens vibe. I had a lot of good friends in Queens.
Of course you did. You're Colombian. I'm like, I don't expect anything less.
And for those, you know, Queens was the spot. Right now it's Brooklyn. Brooklyn is really the place to be at for this type of movement. But I want to say from like 2008 to like, you know, 2016, something like that. You know, Queens was really popping with a lot of parties. We had a lot of friends out there, a lot of cliques that we hung out with. And, you know, I got into the scene in Queens and I was always DJing in Queens. A+ Event was the first shout out to A+ Event and Paula. You know, she has
your vision is so good because you can see that. I'm like,
no, I'm just saying shout out to, you know, for those
you guys
who
can't
know.
see it, but we have a
believe
chat
it or
room
not,
screen.
I could actually read that. You know, I have
that's perfect. Yo, shout out to everybody on that check-in.
Yeah,
all I see is emojis. I'm like, yo, I see some activity, but I don't know what's being said. But
anyway, just to stay on track, not to digress. Go ahead, I'll let you run the show. I don't know where I was going with
it's
that.
okay. You were talking about your experience with DJing and how you bought your CDJs and like all that.
So that was in 2009, and then since then, it's been steady. I had a couple years well, obviously when I got married and had my kids, you know, real life comes at you, and you got to take priorities into because obviously those are things that are beats anything, right? So that took a couple years out of my life in terms of focus wise. I was really focused on, you know, being a dad, being a good husband, being there for my wife and my kids. And I want to say from like 2015 to like 2018, 2019, I laid low for a little bit. I did small events. I was really focusing on production, and I kind of taught myself. So I was really, you know, trial and error, you know, and I was doing that for a little bit. And then things kicked back up, you know, ever since 2018, 2019, things have been kicking back up. And I want to say right now it's, you know, this kind of wave that I'm riding the last couple of months has been probably the best trajectory that I've had in these 14 years. I had a good run in like 2012, 2013 when I was really playing at Pasha all the time. You know, that's one of the good things I got to play there. And anytime that there was a Chris Vargas party, you know, the Colombians, my manager at the time, she was a bartender in Pasha, so I was pretty much playing at all the Pasha events.
Nice.
Well, that had Chris Vargas or somewhere for that crew in there. And, you know, that led me to meet other people. And luckily through connections and collaborations, I've been able to stay alive. And, you know, this year it's got a lot of good things that are coming this year. You know, a lot of good music that's being signed. I got a couple things coming out next month, a couple good parties coming up. This weekend is actually pretty busy.
So let's talk about this weekend.
Yeah. So this weekend, I got 2 events. Right now.
Hey, if you want to fix the mic a little bit lower.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, there you go.
So this weekend we have a Saturday. So it's Friday night into Saturday morning.
Ooh.
We have a Secret Society in Midtown.
I did see that on your page. Yeah.
So that's gonna be dope. It's one of the new after hours spots that gives you that nice NYC type of after hours feel.
Okay.
So yeah, shout out to 2BC and Tito out there. So that's gonna be Saturday, and then Saturday night into Sunday morning, I'm in Brooklyn at this place called Home. Another dope spot. The vibes get real good there.
I have yet to go there. So I want to.
This place is really cool. I recommend it. It's the sound's gotten better recently, and the best thing about this place that I've noticed that people like the most, it gives you that really underground feel because you know, it's real hidden. It's got that Brooklyn type of feel to it, so it's really dope. I like playing there. This will be my second time playing there. So
yeah,
that's on Saturday night into Sunday morning. So this weekend's gonna be busy.
Okay.
A lot of tired nights, but it's all worth it.
Yeah. In the end, it's like, oh, I'm so glad I went out. I feel like anytime I went out to a party or ended up at an afters, it's always like a great, tiring, but like great night. I haven't been to like an afters party. I actually did for Halloween. I definitely went to after parties. I was with Francisco and Caro.
Oh, okay.
I was with Francisco, Caro. Shout out to David. Always showing love. Like we were all together, and like we went to like some spot where it was like an apartment in like Manhattan, some shit like that. But it was dope. I feel like when I used to go to afties and stuff, it was definitely like, I don't know if they even do them anymore. The Resolute parties.
Yeah, well they do.
That still exists.
It's funny you mentioned that because I was at home when I went last time to support one of my buddies. The guy from Resolute was there, and we were actually having a conversation.
Interesting. But is it still happening, or is it like no more? I asked him
that, and he said that yes. I don't know if maybe they changed locations, or I'm not sure. I don't want to speak on that, but I don't know. But from what I know, I thought they were still up and going.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And just so like people can understand what afties are, it's just like basically like, you know when you go home from the club but you don't want to go home from the club and you're just like, but where can I go, because I don't want to go to a diner and we can't go to someone's house. So it's legit like an, I don't know, it would be like an apartment. I feel like it would be a warehouse. It's legit a party that will go on till God knows when.
Yeah,
literally. But it's one of the best times you could get. I feel like it leaves the bouginess, more of the bouginess outside. Yeah. And I feel like it's for serious like party goers. Yeah, like you're not going to an after parties for like a VIP treatment. You're going to for music. And maybe drugs. But like you know what I mean? Most of the time it's music because you don't need drugs to enjoy music. But I'm just being realistic on 100%. What you're gonna see. Yeah. But cool shit. Nobody doing dumb shit. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not gonna see people popping bottles at after hours.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like that's what that's why I feel like is the difference. I feel like the house music culture compared to like and this has nothing to do with like my Latinos. Like I love my Latino community, but I will say that like I feel like men and women in Latino clubs that play like Spanish or hip hop, it's a lot of ego.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ego. Like there's always like a fight, or I got this and you don't got that, or I got the table, or you can't get into my VIP section. Just a lot of like ego.
Get some help.
Yeah, facts. So it's a lot of egoness, which is something that I don't support. And I feel like it's just like negative energy. Like you're going out to be welcoming. You're going out, so it's like an activity of inclusivity.
Yeah.
When you go out to like a hip hop Spanish club, it's like you're not cool, so you're not sitting here.
Right.
And that's it.
No, it's a totally different vibe.
Yeah, it's like always like you gotta be this cool. I don't know. So it's like I
Even
always
now.
go to a house party anytime.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Even now, if trying to do parties at places where they're known for Latin type of events and hip hop type of stuff. The main thing that they take away after we do events there is like they're surprised that there's no fighting or having to worry about fights and things like that. And we tell everybody, listen, it's not like that in house. Everything's about love and happy, getting along, that type of thing. It's not like that in hip hop and Latin parties, unfortunately. So as Spanish people, we know that.
Do you think
or
maybe
Hispanics.
it could be the music that gets them angry a little bit? I'm like, why do y'all get so angry?
It's probably that in the
Why y'all getting kicked out of clubs?
Mixture of that and the liquor, I would say,
Facts.
or people their intention on going out.
Yeah, you know
to
what?
those
You know
parties
what's
is
funny?
different.
People who go to house music parties, I don't see them drinking Hennessy. Hennessy is the problem, yo. Hennessy is the problem. I feel like if you drink Hennessy, you're gonna get in a fight.
I think that's it.
You're gonna punch someone. Yo, I got like dark liquor. I don't know what it is. I was drinking dark liquor last night, and I was thinking about a fight. I was like, why am I thinking about this?
It might be that, I've always said that. Obviously, alcohol plays a big role in that too. But
Definitely. But hopefully it gets better, Y'all can learn a lot from like a house music scene. But let's go back to this.
Back to the after hours.
Yeah.
So basically what after hours is obviously is the after party, right? But in New York it's totally different. So you get like Mina just mentioned, it's a completely no frills type of stuff, straight to the point, straight to vibing with the music, vibing with the DJ, and you really hear and you have a great time, and you hear about people that had a great time at after hours and they were there till the next morning,
Facts.
So yeah, there's good experiences. There's even for party goers, you go to an after hours and you have a good time. You hear somebody that you haven't heard before.
Yeah.
It's a good opportunity for a lot of locals to to get heard and to bring out their friends and things of that nature. So it's dope. Yeah, the after hours scene is real cool. And actually, right now, since COVID, because people were so eager to get back to it, since COVID, I feel like it's really, really thriving.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. I mean, during COVID, I feel like that's where a lot of new entertainment groups were able to thrive, because they're like, oh, we can't throw parties in clubs, but we're going to throw our own secret parties.
Yeah.
And good for them. Good for them. That's why because I remember it like slowly it started popping up on my IG. I was like, oh shit, parties are going on.
Yeah,
but they're like super low key, like throwing them in the park, like weird like locations. So that's cool. Like
in the
innovative.
middle of the pandemic, one of the only parties that was really getting good during the pandemic, I guess towards the last stages of the
Feel
pandemic.
good something.
Was at 46 Lounge. My good friend Mars with the Get Down. Shout out to the Get Down. Shout out to Mars.
Yes.
They were doing a Thursday night event there when everything in New York was still closed. So I remember we were getting people from New York coming, and then it was a dope vibe until things started opening back up. But talking about that, one of the silver linings, I guess, to say in COVID, obviously not to undermine what happened. Obviously, it was a terrible time
for real.
in history. But I guess the silver lining, if you will, from it was, it helped me rekindle those old connections from 10 or so years ago.
That's
because
true.
people started getting back together. Haven't seen you in forever. Let's do work. And
It's like, yo, did you die?
yeah, no, I swear, like,
I'm sorry, but that's really was the thing. Yo, you'll have the ex that popped out from 5 years ago.
No bull.
Yo, you alive?
Yeah.
Not for you. Like, yo.
I saw so many people again at 46 Lounge after, a lot of things weren't really popping off for a while, and especially because of COVID. Like, oh, hey, good to see you. And that led to a lot of the connections that I still got going now. So it helped rekindle kind of those old relationships.
Yeah.
It was, like I said, it was a silver lining. For me, it really helped me pick up from where I was at one point and kind of take off from there. So, I'm thankful for that.
Okay, so I want to get into like a more like let's get to know Mike on a personal level vibe.
Sure.
So thank you for sharing the career path and where we're going and, events that we have going on right now presently. Can we talk about a memorable set? You know, it could be your set. It could be a set that you experienced from someone else. But a set that like that ass, like you'll think of it and it's like a smile on your face, you know? Like you can give yourself time to think about it. You know what I mean?
Off the top of my head, I've always gone back to remembering one set that for me as a DJ really opened my eyes and like it was a game changer for me.
Who was playing? Where we at?
It was in Miami. It was at Space in the Terrace. It was in. I think
of course, I was like Miami, Space. That's just
this
fire.
had to have been 2010, I believe, or 11. My wife will know. I'm sure she's watching. But they were on the Terrace, and it was Loco Dice back to back. Marco Corolla.
Loco Dice, Marco
and they
Corolla.
kind of made that like a thing every year. They would be like the opening event for the conference. During in March. Well, now it's called Miami Music Week. It was always Winter Music Conference, but it was like the open event. People were there.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing that really changed my perspective on a lot of on the music and just sound in general. And Loco Dice has always been one of my favorite people that you look up to and kind of idolize in this business. But that set was just out of this world, and just to see the reaction from the people. How you can connect so well to a crowd, it really stuck with me, and it's something like I can remember like if it was just yesterday. Like I closed my eyes and I it was me, my wife was there, we were coupled with other friends, and it was life changing for her. It was awesome party. I
could definitely see that. I feel like one of the best vibes you have is like when you're just looking around smiling.
Yeah,
and then like strangers are smiling back at you. It's like.
I don't know if you've ever been to Miami.
Whole vibe.
Have you been to Miami to Space, the Terrace?
No. I want to do all that. I feel like the only house parties I've ever experienced was here, Jersey, New York. I'm trying to think. Did I ever go to a house party anywhere else? No.
So Space in Miami, the Terrace in Space in Miami is.
But
an
I know
experience.
of it though, you know.
Because it's a terrace, so it's out in the open, and then you're like most of the time it's bright daylight, and then it's like, what time is it? And then you're having a great time, and then that day they murdered it. They were on point. It was crazy.
It's amazing. Amazing.
I had other good times too that but off the top of my head that's one, and then one for me personally, recently. I've been having a lot of good feedback, after hours within the last year or so. We were doing a lot of parties. I know over the summer we had a couple good events. I had a boat party for my birthday that was excellent. We had a lot of.
When's your birthday?
September 2nd. Shout out to Virgos.
I'm a Capricorn.
That boat party was really, really dope. I know a lot of people had a good time, and then. Also, this past summer, I had a good time I opened up for Darius Sarosian at the Paper Box. Well, it's called the Meadows, and it's the outside portion of it.
Paper Box NYC?
Yeah.
Did they used to do like breakdancing?
I don't know if it's called Paper Box anymore, but it used to be.
Why am I getting... I feel like that was something Funk Box. Wow, I'm thinking about
Funk Box. No, Funk Box is different.
That was old school. That was actually dope.
Yeah, Funk Box
that's
NYC.
what I remember they used to throw the chalk on the floor.
Yes.
That's what I'm thinking about breakdance. I'm like, what am I thinking about?
Nah,
but yes.
So yeah, so.
Go ahead, my friend.
No, it's okay. It's okay. So yeah, that's it. I forgot what was it? What were we talking about?
Your own memorable scene.
That's right. So. There's a lot, but I would say from this past year, because things have really started to kick off again, it's fresh in my memory. I would say those two events, that boat party for my birthday, and then that party where I opened up with my friend Andrew Mendez. Shout out to Andrew Mendez. We opened up for Darius Sarosian. That was a dope party. People were feeling the vibes. It was outside. It was an outdoor party, kind of in the middle of the day. I believe it was a Sunday. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And it was dope. Yeah. You get a good feedback from the crowd, and that really fuels you. Yeah. And then as you keep going, I would say those are kind of my two most memorable sets. But in terms of like volume and like just like level of party, the biggest party I think I've ever played at, I played in Colombia once. That was
cool. Nice. Yeah. What part?
I played in Bogota. It was in el norte in Bogota. Nice. The name was called G Club. It was in Bogota. And that was a lot of fun. I also had an event on Governor's Island. I played at the Black and White Party. That was, I want to say 2012 or 2013. Obviously, it was Boris and a couple of people on the main stage, and I played on the side tents. That was a dope event. It was huge. Yeah, a lot of people were there. But yeah, I'm sure it'll come to me later. It's something that stuck with me. But off the top of my head, those are pretty much the ones that have always remained fresh in my memory.
Okay. So I have a question for you, Mike.
Yeah, sure.
This is a fun question. If you could live at any club, what club would you live in and why?
Oh, wow. Good question. Like now, or in the past?
Well, right now, you could bring a club back from the past, whichever. There's no limits.
I mean, I want to say because I didn't get to experience it.
Fix your mic a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Because I didn't get to experience it, and I'm a historian of the music, and I know, the stories that people have of certain places. I would love to bring back clubs like
Amnesia,
like Limelight.
You're talking about like Palladium.
Yeah, Tunnel.
Okay, we're
events.
talking about Mike. What's his face? That was the old guy that owned the clubs. He was like the actual owner.
Oh yeah.
His name was he had the eye patch. He was the actual owners of those clubs, like Limelight, Palladium, the Tunnel, and there was one more. If anybody can help us out in the check-in, there was 4 monumental clubs.
Exit?
And it was it was owned by Michael something. He's definitely look at the house music history with this because that's how I learned about it. Yeah. He's known because he was the one that started inviting the club kids. The club kids, you remember the club kid environment in the 80s, how they had Disco 2000, the actual like parties, like the theme parties.
Yeah.
I forgot what's his name, Michael.
Oh, I think I know. I think I did something about the owner.
Yeah, it's actually like you'll learn more about it. Like if you see the Limelight movie with Macaulay Culkin and Steph Green.
Yeah.
That is a movie about a real story in a club that happened. Like an actual murder happened. Angel really died. He was a drug dealer. Some wild shit. Definitely check out that movie, especially if you're into like house music, like his history. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah. I gotta find the name of this person. It was Peter Gation. Why did I think of an M? So Peter Gation was the owner of these clubs.
Now that you ring it with the bell, it definitely
like he used to have that,
100%,
like he had no
name.
eye,
I know who you're talking about.
But that's really cool that you would. So which club would you reopen? Limelight?
I would say Limelight because for obviously our type of music in house, a lot of people loved Limelight, Tunnel. There was a lot of good clubs back in the day. I know Vinyl, Danny Tenaglio's old spot back in the day. So yeah, any one of those I think would be great. But anything with good sound. Cielo was always one of my favorite places to play.
Cielo was a beautiful place for great sound. It was just small.
I played there a couple times.
Really?
It was always my favorite booth to play in. Like, in the booth monitor as a DJ, you kind of really get a good sound, a good feel from that booth. It was always one of my favorite rooms to play. And just to be there too, it was had a small, nice feel to it. It was a great location right in the meatpacking district, and
Facts.
In Greenwich Village. It was a dope spot. I was actually really sad when Cielo closed.
Yeah, Cielo. I feel like they all closed at the same time. It was like Cielo, Output
closed around the same time. Yeah. Pasha was 2016, and I think those were like 18 or 17 or 18.
Yeah, Output was my first club. First house club.
Okay, yeah, that was a dope club.
Yeah. I remember Boris was playing the night that I first went to Output, and I never knew about house music. I got invited just to come out. I was like, "What is this? This is cool. Oh, this is real cool." But okay. So you would bring back one of the most like oldest clubs. Limelight is cool though.
Just so I could obviously, because in our line of work, that's you want to experience what people did at one point that really changed their life. So I would say Limelight. Sounds good.
I mean, I actually think that's one of the top answers I thought about, because I never thought about Limelight. And anybody who doesn't know what Limelight is, Limelight was so famous because it was a church. Yeah. It was a church that Peter was just like, you know what? I'm going to make it into a club. And when I think about it, that was like, I can't even imagine how the music sounded there. Right. Probably like crazy. Like it sounded so good.
I know.
But definitely. I've never actually even been in front of the church, because I know it's still there.
It is.
But I never passed in front of it. I'm gonna make that into my bucket list. Definitely do that before it goes away. But okay, so we chose a club that we could definitely live at and experience again. So now I want the viewers to get to know a vulnerable side to you. So let's think about a time where shit hit the fan. Whether it was a set of yours, whether it was a night of going out. Can you take us back to a memory where you're just like, damn? Yeah,
for sure. And it's happened a lot. To pick one is probably hard right now, and I'll think about it. But off the top of my head, like I said, I a lot of my learning, because I was at a young age in this, was through experience. So I learned trial and error, and unfortunately, sometimes it happened live. So when I first started playing, I was DJing with CDs. I was doing that for the first couple of years. I transitioned over to using Tracker, like a computer. I want to say 2013, something like that. I started playing with a computer, and you know, everybody knows technology has its ups and downs, right? Then the main thing that people don't like about technology is, what if it doesn't work one day? Then you're stuck.
That's true.
And unfortunately, I learned the hard way. I was at an event, and for some reason, my computer just, it wasn't charging, or it wasn't getting the charge correctly. The charger wasn't, and it just shut off in the middle of the event.
Damn, Apple. Nah, let me stop.
Yeah, nah, you know what? I think it was something.
It's like it wasn't even Apple.
It was. I think it must have been something with the charger. For those of you people that have MacBook Pros, they know that when you're out somewhere, somebody could take your charger and you switch it out. And then I remember I looked and I'm like, oh, this is not my charger, and it's not working, because I mean, at the event that I was at the last time, I never noticed.
Swappy swap.
Ended up taking somebody's damaged charger. I'm thinking it's working, and my computer shuts off. So that was tough.
What did you
do? That
do?
happened to me, actually, unfortunately. Not proud of it, but that happened to me at least twice.
But what do you do?
2 or 3 times. You don't do nothing. You're like, oh, sorry. And then, so that specific event, I finally got the charger to work. I had to like hold the thing together. I think somebody got me like a piece of black tape.
Okay, cool. I was like, how are you doing this?
I had to do like a quick thing. It sucked. You know, it was not a good look, to be totally honest. It was not a good look, but you know, it taught me well. You know,
made it work.
Made sure I always went with like 2 chargers.
Facts.
One of my, you know, wifey always gives me a pep talk on my way out, and now she would always add, you gotta back up the
Great
charger.
Wife.
Yeah, shout out to my wife. She always tells me the right thing. Shout out to Jackie. Yes. So, yeah, I would say that, unfortunately, like I said, that did happen to me a couple times. But I learned, and eventually I did away from the computer, and now I'm on the USB wave. I'm really feeling that feel. For those of you that don't understand, it allows you to still have that kind of feel with the turntables, with the CDJs, but also allow you to carry all your music in just a little USB. So that's really technology's been great. You know, there's people that abuse it for the wrong reasons, but for people that are really creative, it allows you to be more creative, be a lot more organized with playlists and things like that. So I've been really enjoying the USB move, and yeah, the good thing is that it's kind of foolproof. You know, you don't really need a charger. It doesn't die. You know, as long as you don't lose the USB, you should be good. But yeah, I would say those times that happened to me was probably the most embarrassing, kind of like, oh, I wish that didn't happen type of things. But I'm glad it happened, you know, because you learn, and it kind of gives you
a
reality check.
Learn.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And with that same thing, you know, I remember one time at an after hours, now that I'm thinking about other times, I was playing at Petra one time, and some guy unplugged my charger. Didn't realize it, and the computer died. So like I said, that did happen a couple times to me. So yeah.
How do you know a guy did it? You saw him?
Yeah, we saw it.
Nah. So you asshole. You fucked up my whole set.
No, actually, you know, it's funny you mentioned that, because my manager at the time, I told you, I mentioned her, she was really mad, and she was yelling at him. But you know, he didn't do it on purpose.
I would yell at him too.
No, but he didn't do it on purpose. He was unplugging his stuff, and he got confused. He didn't do it on purpose,
but you got to be careful. You know what I mean?
I know. And then I don't think he did it on purpose. And he was like, "Oh, sorry."
But you know what? That was his learning curve. That was his mistake. Oh, yeah. He's like, "Yo, I ain't never doing this again. I don't want to be screamed at." You know what I mean?
He felt bad.
But he probably never did that again. Sometimes you gotta get into those uncomfortable moments to make sure that doesn't happen. You know, I'm sure Pretty now, when he goes to his sets, he's that
like,
etiquette.
I'm making sure I'm pulling the right cable.
Facts. Just how you bring that extra charger, and Jackie gives you a pep talk, you know, you learn, this sticks with you.
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
So I have a question. If you could work with any DJ in the world, you know, even if they died, and we could bring it back to life, because there are, like, you know, you could talk about Frankie Knuckles. We could bring it back. What does this look like for us? Like, who would Mike like to go back to back with?
Oof. Right. I mean, as of right now, you know, they're.
And you know what? Let's be fair, because sometimes it is hard to just pick one.
Yeah.
So let's pick 3.
Yeah.
Let's pick 3.
Okay. You know, dreaming big, right? Dreaming big.
Facts.
You know,
there's no limit. It's like, yo, like, there's no budget. So like anybody.
2 right off the top is Loco Dice, Marco Corolla. That sound, when I told you at that time, that changed, you know, my life per se at Space Miami. That sound, ever since I heard that sound, is really the sound that I've been trying to aim towards. I just I love how they mix together, and that sound that they create together to me is incredible. So I would say those two, and then I gotta pick a local legend. I would love to work with Danny Tenaglia, or any of the big NYC legends. Victor, Oscar G. Well, even though Oscar G is Miami based, but he's big in New York.
He is, definitely. I just saw Oscar G back in November. Yeah, he was cool.
I would say Danny Tenaglia, probably from the local legends.
They have many females though.
Yeah.
What's up? Where's the female DJ love, bro?
I actually know a few female DJs. Shout out to all the female DJs out there. Obviously, not trying to be sexist at all.
Yeah. But just so we can make it more inclusive.
Sure.
I love male DJs. I love all types of DJs, but I do feel like females need some love. You know, especially because the DJ industry is dominated mostly by males.
One female DJ that I played with a lot, and I really like her sound, and I've opened for her a lot. I know her for a long time. Miss Jen.
Miss Jennifer. Okay, Miss Jennifer. She's cool.
Miss Jennifer's. We know her. Me and my wife know her for a long time.
Hey.
And she's definitely somebody who I've worked with in the past, but would love to collab one day. Just off the top, thinking of female DJs. I know there's a lot. Don't mean to leave anybody out, but I would say those off the top of my head.
Okay. I like that you say Local Dice. Local Dice, I will forever have one favorite song from him. I don't know if I'm saying the title correctly. It's Brasiella, Medina Brasiella.
Yeah.
How is it pronounced? Medina Brasiella? Brasiella Medina?
So I think it's Brasileira.
Something.
In Portugal, or mistake me if I'm wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't mean to disrespect anybody, but Brazilian or Portuguese. And then I know exactly what track
I love that.
It's actually
song.
long. It's like an 8-minute
very
song.
long song. It's my favorite song. Anybody who wants a
very
cool
minimal
track,
that's when Local Dice was really, really, really minimal.
So
but yeah, I love that's him and Martin Butrick, who's actually his co-owner of their label, Desolate. That sound is really unique to them, and I love that sound. So I'm glad you brought that one up, because that's
my favorite song.
That's one of the songs that were repeat for in the early 2000s.
That was on repeat for my son. That was my son's lullaby. I'm not kidding. I swear to God.
We used to play house music for my daughters while she was
it's
sleeping.
Yo, go to sleep.
No, because you hear that it develops their brain in a positive way. We used to do the Beethoven.
Ooh.
And then we did the Beethoven.
That's good.
For kids.
I heard that it makes them smarter.
Yeah, and we did it, and then we used to do house. I used to when she was in the belly, when all three of them were in the belly, we used to put the headphones on. Yeah.
So cute.
So yeah.
Aww, you guys are cool parents. You guys are cool parents. Shout out to all the house parents out there, that gotta balance their lives and party. Because I'm like, if you got no kids, you got party all the time. Don't get me wrong, you got the career, but when you got a parent, you got a career, a parent, DJ party. It's like so much. Yo, I gotta schedule this in.
It's definitely not easy for those of you that live it and experience it. Shouts out, hats off to everyone out there that has kids and tries to do it in the business. I know a few. It's definitely not easy. It's hard work.
Definitely.
You got to prioritize. It's a lot of sacrifice on terms of either one of the spouses, whether it's me or Jackie. If it wasn't for my wife and the support that she gives me, she's my number one supporter, I wouldn't be able to do the things that I do. So definitely big shout out to her.
Shout out to Jackie.
And all the wives out there, all the supportive wives out there, and the supportive mothers out there that do this for all the right reasons. Shout out to everybody. It's definitely not easy. That's for sure.
Okay, so we talked a little bit about the club that you would live in, and just some future events that you have going on right now.
Yeah.
Do you want to give anybody some shout outs?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because I haven't heard some shout outs from you, like any specific shout outs that you want to give to people.
I don't want to miss anybody, so I want to just say shout out to my main crew. You guys know who you are, everybody in the music fam. Shout out to Francisco. Shout out to David Rodriguez, Francisco Samuel. Shout out to Mr. Rivas. Shout out to everybody I've been collabing with lately. My buddy John Rengifo. Shout out to Richie Dio. Shout out to Jeff Elise. Shout out to there's a lot of people that I've been working with lately. A lot of collaborations coming down the line. So definitely shout out to everyone. If I missed anybody, I do apologize. But there's a lot of people out there that have been showing love lately. My friends, my family. All my friends has been supporting me since day one. Shout out to all you guys. I know I see some of you on there. Thanks for all the love and support. And yeah, you know, I'm sure the circle is gonna keep on growing, right?
Yeah.
And although people say obviously with time your circle shrinks, but you know, in this business you want to try to, you know, meet as many people and be as friendly, networking and that type of thing. But for my tight circle, you know who you are. Shout out and love to everybody.
Hey, let's go.
And obviously shout out, I mentioned it a bunch of times, shout out to my wife, my family, everybody's listening. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Yes. Okay. So where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
Wow, I haven't heard that question.
Where would you like to see yourself?
The last time I heard that question was at my job interview, right? Like,
I mean, this is an interview. It's just like, not for a job. It's fun.
Nah, I'm kidding. No, that's a good question. So in 5 years, I definitely want to have a lot more music released. You know, I'm an overthinker, so I've been trying to make that one of my resolutions, if you will, for this year. Not trying to overthink myself. So I'm hopefully going to be in a place where I'm a little bit more comfortable sending my sound out to different labels, you know, being okay with rejection. You know, it's tough for a lot of people being okay with rejection. I'm still working on it, you know, and you overthink things and you don't take opportunities because you're afraid of failing. But hopefully this year I can put that to the side. I'm looking forward to having a good year. And so in 5 years, I would say I want to be even busier. You know, I want to be, you know, doing a lot more steady type of events. I want to have at least, you know, signed to bigger labels. So I'm just, you know, thinking in terms of what my goals for the near future. I would say 5 years is probably the near future would be to be on a bigger label. I definitely want to get my sound out to the world, and what better way to get, you know, signed to a bigger label, you know, with more connections and more of an avenue of promotion. And also, you know, playing at bigger events, meeting more people, collabing with, you know, some of the names that I mentioned, some of the people that I work with, looking forward to projects. And yeah, you know, I'm looking forward to continuing on this path. You know, hopefully everybody can continue to support and show love to the events, whether it's New Jersey, New York, or, you know, listening on SoundCloud, following on Instagram, whatever it may be. So just looking forward to a good year.
Okay, love that. All the positivity. Let's go. So I have a question, because you were talking about, you know, using the USB and, you know, just using like what you have. Have you ever experienced DJing with vinyls? And how do you feel about that? So
it's funny you bring that up, because I'm actually in the middle of redesigning my studio. For those of you that know me, I have a studio right now that we kind of built from scratch in my house. But there's a little space that I set aside because I knew I wanted to build on it a little further. And I'm getting some turntables, you know, for vinyl, and I'm also getting a pair of CDJs. I have my mixer ready, so that's in the works. I'm, you know, under construction type of. I'm trying to get a good feel of where it would go. But I don't have any experience of actually mixing with vinyl. You know, I've put needles to a record before and listened to different things at people's houses, but I definitely want to start sampling with vinyl a little bit more, and I definitely want to, you know, get a good feel of mixing with vinyl. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. A lot of times people have asked me that, you know, and I've always had that in my mind as something that I want to get. But I want to kind of have my own thing at home so I could really focus on it and dedicate some time to it, because it doesn't come easy. You know, everything is how much time you dedicate to it. Yeah. And I've seen it. So yeah, I gotta, hopefully within the next couple months, you know, that I should finalize, you know, where I'm gonna put the you know, the addition, the shelf, and then it's a matter of getting in the turntables and really just getting to work. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say definitely the practice is dope with the vinyls, because I feel like there has to be a reason why, because I'm like, okay, we moved on with sounds, we moved on with music and stuff, but for some reason that part of listening to music has not changed. And to this day, it's one of the most, I guess, clearest, crispiest sounds to this day.
You get that true like analog sound. It's
exactly.
It's not
like
digital.
No one can't imitate that. So that's why I always ask DJs like, how do you feel about that? Especially since it has become easier, which is not a problem, you know. I feel like, because in the end of the day, it's the talent that you put into it that makes it unique and different. But I always like to pay patronage to like the vinyl, because the vinyl is like what started digging through the crates. This like, you know, wording with house music, like that, it means something. You know what I mean? I I haven't seen, the last time I seen a DJ play with vinyls, I think it might have been Carl Cox. I think, but he was doing some crazy shit. He had 3.
Oh yeah, I've seen
Danny.
I
was like, how you do that?
Yeah,
like, you know?
Danny Tenaglia, I've seen him play with like 4 vinyls.
Yeah, Danny Teneglia's like a vinyl guy. They do like vinyl nights. I remember they used to have a party at Output.
Yeah, the vinyl reunion.
Yes.
Yeah, because that was one of the clubs back in the day that he really had his residency at vinyl, and yeah, he's played with vinyl.
Who else was
Nobody's
another
got
one?
a record
Was
collection like Danny.
What's his face? Papa Cien? No, was
Papa
it him?
Sven?
Was it him? I don't know.
Sven Veth?
Maybe, but he's sick. I haven't seen him in a while, but he's fucking sick.
Yeah,
I love him.
I saw him once. I think it was at Pasha, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, actually, no.
I saw him at Sankey's. But the one in Manhattan, not the one that went to Brooklyn.
I can't forget. I mean, I can't remember. I forget where I saw him, but it was dope. It was really dope. Yeah, it's fun.
So I have a question for you, especially because you're a DJ. Obviously, you know who Richie Houghton is.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you know what Richie Houghton is doing? Well, I think he started doing it like maybe 6 years ago. That new technology that he came out, because I think his father's an engineer. And I don't know. I'm curious if any DJ is playing with that. And maybe anybody in the check-in that can help us out. But I'm going to look it up. But Richie Houghton, he has an advantage a little bit because his father's an engineer. Richie Houghton, new DJ device. Like, he created something, and that's why I was curious. I was like, is anybody playing with this yet? It's called Model 1.4. Talking about the Model 1.4, Richie Houghton said, with Model 1, we set out to build a new breed of DJ mixer, more akin to an instrument with levels of control and quality that inspired creativity. So this is a statement in January 2021, but the Model 1.4 is the new DJ mixer.
Oh, okay, the DJ mixer.
So I'm guessing you haven't played.
Nah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a pioneer guy.
I want to like learn like what makes it different. You know what I mean? Is it a better sound? Like, what is it?
Well, yeah, so mixers have their own processors that have their sound cards that give better sound quality. You know, top names right now in the business are obviously Pioneer, but then you have Allen and Heath. They make good pieces. Just comfortability wise, I prefer Pioneer. I haven't really dabbled into that mixer at all, the one with Richie.
Yeah.
But now that you bring it up, I do remember seeing.
I think he has the patent on it, which is crazy. I mean, don't quote me on that, but it's something he's promoting it. So I'm like, are you behind this?
It's in terms of comfortability. You know, people like the effects in a certain place that are a little easier to reach. But I guess it's to what people are more comfortable in. But yeah, the industry leaders are really Allen and Heath and Pioneer. Okay. Those are really the ones. But no, I haven't messed with Richie's mixer yet.
All right. Well,
sure it's fire,
something to think about, you know. Let me see how much time we got left. Oh, shit. We are like 3 minutes before the show ends. That's what happens when you have a good show. Time goes by fast.
Yeah, I know. It actually did go by fast.
Super fast. So,
I guess, can I share one thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I'm like, I don't want to get too into something. Yeah, go ahead.
Something that's coming out this year. Look out for, I actually had the honor to being on my good friend DJ Dove. He's invited me to be on his album, so I'm looking forward to that. Look forward for more collaborations with Francisco. I got a couple things going on with Francisco Samuel. For those of you that
he's going to the Dominican Republic, isn't he?
Oh yeah, my
that's going crazy. That's so dope.
We have a track that came out recently, Frequency. We had a little play on words with that. It's spelled freak like freak. Somebody messaged me like, "Hey, you spelled frequency wrong." It's
like, nah, I did that on purpose.
It's on purpose for those of you that think we spelled it wrong. It was a little play on words that we did, but
imagine, that's Francisco's fault. Imagine, let me stop.
So we actually changed the name of that track a couple of times, but yeah, we circled down on Frequency. So look out for DJ Dove's album this year. Look out for
where can you find it?
It's gonna be on Grind City Recordings on DJ Dove's label.
Okay. But like Spotify.
So the main places for where it's gonna be are Beatport and Traxsource.
Beatport.
Yeah, so look out for that in the coming months. And I got a couple things that are not signed yet, but definitely this year look out for new music for sure.
Let's go. Yeah, I heard it from the man himself and literally brought us to a closing. So all I want to say, I see a lot of engagement and activity in the check-in. Everybody that's watching the show, if you love content like this, definitely learn how to subscribe to the Mina Mendoza Show channel. Support your girl. I want to say thank you for everybody that, just were with us in this show. I appreciate it so much. Like, I love doing this. I love learning about people's journeys. I just want to be a positive footprint in people's lives. So thank you, Mike, for showing up.
Thanks again for having me.
Thank you for sharing your story. I mean, yeah, I love that. Thank you.
Go on forever.
Yes, I mean, it was a good vibe, good show.
Yeah. Come out to Secret Society, everybody, on Saturday, home on Sunday, and look forward to seeing everybody out there. Thanks again.
Yes, of course, really of course. Always welcome back to. I want to hear the stories. I want to see the growth and also hear the growth.
I appreciate that.
So everybody that's watching, definitely remember to subscribe to the channel. It's your girl Mina Mendoza. We're here 7 p.m. every Thursday live. You can follow me on Instagram, Queen of Spice. The of is a 0, and also Mike Parra. Give your Instagram name so people know where to find you.
So yeah, follow me on Mike Parra. It's just at Mike Parra. So it's obviously Mike Parra. You can find me on Twitter at DJ Mike Parra. If you put in the handle Mike Parra anywhere, it'll come up and you'll see my page. So definitely give me a like, give me a follow. Appreciate that.
Let's go. All right, guys. So we're gonna close the show out. Great show. It's your girl Mina Mendoza, little girl, big personality, Queen of Spice, and we're out of here. Peace, friends. Let's go. Hey.